Welcome to the Corporate Treasury 101 podcast. This is the third and last part of our full interview with Joost Kevelam from Cobase, where Hussam and I ask Joost the ins and outs of what bank connectivity is all about. In this episode, expect to learn what is the Cobase offering. We talk about their specific ERP solution, their core offer with the payment hub and how it works, the light TMS solution they can deploy for their clients. We also discuss about their business model and how they constantly connect to more and more banks, and much more. We would like to do more episodes like this, as it allows us to, on top of learning about treasury topics, really dive into what are the available treasury solutions out there. Let us know if you would like to hear more about those type of formats and if you like them. We are reachable on LinkedIn at Corporate Treasury 101, and if not, just come and say hi. Also, if you like the episode, the best thing you can do to support us, and completely for free, is to subscribe or share the episodes. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast app or all of the above. This is completely free and it makes Hussam and I very happy indeed. With all that being said, please welcome Joost Kevelam.
So, just take us through what Cobase does then exactly. So, you mentioned quite a few times the kind of things that you offer, but give us not the sales pitch, but the overview of what exactly you guys do and how you help your clients and etc. and what services you offer exactly.
Yeah, sure. So today we offer three solutions. The first one is what we call the Cobase Bank Connector, and the Bank Connector provides a powerful integration between banks and bank accounts and specific ERP systems. For example, Oracle NetSuite. Balance and transaction information from the banks is converted and ready for use within Oracle NetSuite specifically, the other way around for payments. This is a narrow but very focused offering at a price point accordingly, and this was launched last year. It's a big success so far. It fulfills a very clear need, and that need is, how on earth do I get my bank and transaction data in NetSuite? That's what we fix for clients. So that is the Bank Connector. It's specifically geared towards a specific ERP system. Then the core Cobase offering, that is the Cobase Payment Hub. And for the Payment Hub, you are not bound to a specific ERP. Or the Payment Hub offers this much richer GUI, which is not necessarily there for the Bank Connector. So we have the richer GUI where you can, for example, enter manual payments in the actual platform itself. It also allows for more advanced workflow designs, has a richer reporting and dashboarding functionalities. And then lastly, there's the Treasury Management System, and that is essentially the Payment Hub, but it is enriched with functionalities for dealing FX, calculating and hedging FX risks, in-house banking, liquidity forecasting, and balance optimization. So when you enable these modules, you are essentially deploying a light TMS system. Now, what is true for all three offerings and what is the technological core of Cobase is that all three offerings include this fully managed bank connectivity and file transformation service. And again, this is a dedicated Cobase team that takes care of bank connectivity and of file transformation. And that is the core intellectual knowledge, if you like, of the Cobase teams. Take all this complexity away from the clients.
Are all those three service offerings all cloud-based solutions? I think you mentioned it for one of the offering, but are all the others as well?
Yeah, everything is cloud-based. Yeah.
So just to be clear again for listeners, the cloud-based means that it sits on. You don't come in and install any softwares on your clients' servers. You have a central software somewhere they connect via the internet, basically.
It is exactly that. Yeah, it is exactly that. That's gives easy deployments, so that's easy for clients. For us, it's easier to maintain, and for the large cloud providers, financial services security is really on top of their agendas. So also from a security point of view, it's very beneficial for clients.
Very clear, Joost. Thank you so much. Can you maybe explain us how Cobase helps corporate connected to their banks, and how do you differentiate exactly from other service providers in the same industry?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. There are a couple of players like us in the market. We think that we are different because we are licensed by the Dutch Central Bank, and this essentially provides comfort to our clients that we operate on a bank equivalent system and process security. So that's quite a big one. From a operational point of view, file transformation and especially the maintenance of those files is always standard included in our service. This does not come at additional fees, or whenever in the future bank formats change, which they do all the time, we would not charge you separately. We want to be you as carefree as possible. So this is all done in the background, kept away from you and not built to you. And this is not a given for all participants in the market. The last one here that I like to mention is that we offer really high service levels. And of course, this can be just a marketing line, but the relationships we work with, they all like working with us. Also, or perhaps especially after all the gloss of the sale process is gone, because on day one it's a sales pitch and everything is hunky-dory. And then the rough work of the implementation starts. We get very good feedback from our clients there. Just as an example, TMI recently published an interview between Joanne, who is the group head of cash management, and myself. And this one is this interview. It's a good read, but this is really a true testament to this point of how happy customers are with the cooperation after the sales process.
Awesome. Is it the same, because it's not only an interview with TMI, right? I think you were nominated for an award. Is it the same one? The highly commended.
Exactly. So the award came after. Thanks a lot. The award came after the interview. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I recall this one. And again, it proves the whole sales pitch. And I know from experience that the implementation experience can be much different from the sales pitch. Where do you, just for my curiosity, where do you operate geographically? Sorry, is it because if it's a cloud-based solution, you can be anywhere in the world, right? Is it the case right now? Do you have a specific market you're focusing on? What's the point here?
No, great question. So we connect with banks worldwide. We work for legal entities of companies worldwide. If you look at where we focus our marketing efforts, then it is for European Treasury centers. Now, this can be for European Treasury centers for, logically, European companies, but this can also be for European Treasury centers, for example, for US-based companies. And this is really from the practical point of view that the implementation team is here locally. We like to work with actual people on the Cobase payroll, not to outsource all this work. So working with European teams is the best way that we can guarantee that we deliver on our promise. So we work with European Treasury teams during European business hours. That said, if those European Treasury entities do need to connect to global banks, that's no problem at all. That is what we do on a daily basis. And if those European companies have entities across the globe, that's also no problem at all. That's what we do on a daily basis.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Can you maybe walk us through a use case where you have implemented a bank connectivity solution? I don't know if you want to talk about the one you got awarded for. And I would like also you to maybe focus on what were the benefits. So what was the problem statement from the client? What were they trying to achieve? And thanks to the Cobase solution, what happened and what were the benefits at the end?
Yeah, the one from the award, I'll urge every listener to give that one a read. It's a nice read. But another one, and it is a use case that we come across quite often, that is for companies that are growing and expanding rapidly. So whether it is organically or whether it is through a acquisition mode. You can imagine that if you are starting to acquire companies in, for example, different companies, and you've not had a relationship before, then each and every acquisition comes with its own banking landscape, its own financial software, its own ERP systems, its own natural persons that are working there. And for companies in an acquisition mode, it can be very complex to have, first of all, to have quick insight of what is happening financially in the newly acquired company. And then secondly, it's very can be very complex to have control over what is happening locally. Now, I'm not suggesting that the software enables total centralization of every acquisition. Of course, it is possible. But the key thing that the companies are looking for is to have at least insight and control over what is happening. So you can be very comfortable with payments still being approved locally in the newly acquired company, but at least you want to know what the authorization rights are. In the newly acquired company, you want to know what the cash balances are. And this is a use case that we have come across quite often. This is why clients like Cobase. It easily scales with them. The example I just gave is for a company that is essentially in a constant acquisition modus. But we have also a company that is constantly expanding into new markets organically. And also there, they find it very convenient to have a platform like Cobase in place that whenever they move into a new market, and I think this is one of Hussam's point really in the beginning of this interview, where he said, why do you have all these many banks? Well, if you go to a new country, typically you want to start working with a local bank, and then you want to have this local bank onboarded in your financial infrastructure as soon as possible. With the Cobase platform in place, it's very easy to start adding new banks. Also here, this takes away a lot of this complexity. If you are growing or if you are acquiring, you have many things on your plate. The one thing that you do not want to worry about is bank connectivity. And that's what we help our customers with.
Awesome. And talking about the benefits, when you have a client expanding and wants to be connected to a new bank in an exotic country, let's say, do they have to do the work themselves? Is it quote unquote easy to implement on the corporate side, or does your team take it in charge? How does it work here?
For the team on the client side, this typically is easy.
Okay.
For us, it's not, but it is what we like to do. Exactly, that's the point. It's what we like to do, and because of our experience, we tend to think that we can do this a bit better than the corporate customer themselves. But the ambition is always to make this as easy and painless for the customer as possible.
Okay, super clear. And again, sorry, I'm getting really curious, but when so I'm expanding, I want to be connected to a new bank. If we are in the case where Cobase is not initially connected to that bank, will you establish the connection then by yourself as well? And it's something you add for your portfolio, and then for the future clients, you will also be connected already, right? So the further you grow, the further your network grows as well, and then the future clients coming can basically enjoy and profit from all these new banks connected.
Yeah, that's a great question, and really how we as a business like to think. So whenever we approach a new bank, the actual introduction typically happens with help of the customer, because the customer already knows the bank and has a relationship. So they tell their bank, we would like you to start working with Cobase on making our data available. For us, we always try to explore the route first where we can have the channel in our name, exactly to do what you are describing. If the channel is in our name, in the Cobase name, we can simply add clients later on and really building this library. This is fine for banks that are aware of this tech side and have done this before. They typically tend to cooperate, but many banks find this a bit too new for them.
Okay.
So their new clients do not literally enter the same channel, but because we have worked with the people at that new bank before, also establishing a connection in name of the client becomes fairly easy because we know the people, we know the bank. So in that sense, we are building maybe not necessarily this library, well, bank-specific library, yes, but not a library of repurposable connections, but we are building this network of banks that know how to work with Cobase.
Super clear. Makes a lot of sense. Joost, that was super insightful. Thank you so much. Anything else you would like to add either on bank connectivity as a topic or on Cobase that we maybe didn't touch upon?
No, thanks a lot for the information, for the invitation, Guillaume. It's been a very pleasant hour.
Yes.
The only message I would like to give the listeners is whenever you are exploring this domain of bank connectivity, do your market sounding, be very sure about the questions that you need to ask. There is, in this complex field, a big difference between marketing, and actual delivery. This is not easy to figure out yourselves. To put it very simple, my mailbox or LinkedIn box is always open for a quick sounding session.
Perfect.
Not necessarily to buy, but to share.
Yeah, share information.
Exactly.
I was going to come to it. It feels like, so you mentioned the interview. I see you guys are sharing a lot on LinkedIn, on your website. So you read these articles and so on. So that's maybe a good way to start, right? Just informing yourself about the resources out there on the internet. Compare, of course, like cross checks, but definitely there are some resources available. And talking about Cobase, if people would like to know more about you, read those articles, know more about the interview you mentioned for Tenemos, where should they go? And also for the LinkedIn of your company.
Yeah, exactly. So our website, www.cobase.com. If you want to do it more personal, it's my first name dot last name @cobase.com. Feel free to email me directly or look me up at LinkedIn, and I'll find you in the message box there, fully available.
This is awesome. We'll put all the links in the description. So if you'd like to check them out, just go in the podcast description and use LinkedIn profile will be there, Cobase as well. And we will put the resources we mentioned, such as the interview one, so people can go directly there. Joost, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guillaume.